I'm conscious of the fact that showing VR gameplay footage always kind of undersells it. It doesn't really show you what it feels like. Let me just overlay this to help you kind of visualize it better. It's good. I've really been enjoying the VR bullet hell roguelite Mothergunship Forge, developed by Terrible Posture Games. And its recent update to include a 4th zone with new bosses, an endless mode, a sandbox mode, new items and enemies, and progress saves really wraps up this little gem nicely. I haven't played Tower of Guns or Mothergunship, so this VR iteration is my first exposure to this developer, but I really like this. It has a strong, focused, simple, and mostly rewarding gameplay loop, and very clean visuals and audio, so that enemies and their attacks are clearly telegraphed. It reminds me of Hades a bit, moving from room to room depending on the offered rewards, except instead of picking one weapon from the outset and upgrading it as you go, you start with 2 or 3 gun bits and collect more of varying quality as you progress, and they click together on your arm like Lego. It's very intuitive. Really recommended for any and all VR users. Little sidetrack on VR in general. I haven't played through any non-VR 3D shooter since Half-Life Alyx. Kind of ruined it for me. It's just a lot better, honestly. Sorry, it is. The tech isn't infinitely immersive, it's a bit of a faff, it's a bit expensive, but aside from the immersive element, there's nothing else for me that really forces me to focus on just a game. When I'm playing Vampire Survivor or whatever else, I'm always watching or listening to something else, and I'll have my phone out, a dozen browser tabs open, notifications that can pull me away at any moment. If being compelled to multitask and to be endlessly engaged and plugged into social media, or email, or work, or whatever at all times is a problem for you, VR is almost meditatively isolating. It's contrary to Zuckerberg's push to get everyone to be social on VR. That's not at all what I want from it. I really like VR for the enforced focus it requires while playing. And Mothergunship Forge has been one of my favourite VR games so far. There are tiny technical issues that'll probably be sorted, but as of now, there's a room in the final zone that seems to get an enemy stuck in it somewhere about half the time I play through it, so I need to restart the game and resume the run from the menu screen in order to actually progress. And the big laser robots sometimes ghost shoot if you kill them too quickly. I think there's a frame during which if you kill it, its attack will happen whether it's alive or not. Otherwise, there's fairly typical roguelike imbalances in room rewards. The purple stuff feels totally useless. That's a natural part of the roguelike RNG process though, but it can still feel annoying if you're cornered into picking purple shards as a reward multiple times, but it evens out over time. Gun bits break down into 4 categories. The guns themselves, barrels ranging from rapid fire to frag explosives, connector parts that can be upgraded for a bonus that can affect all equipped guns, caps, modifiers that offer more substantive effects to all equipped guns but offer no connection points, and canisters, which offer even more substantial effects but only to one gun. The parts are imbalanced, but that's good. It feels nice for players to imagine that they are discovering efficient ways to play. I was going to go into the ways in which some of the items are very weak, but that's basically spoiler territory for a game like this. Be wary in the sandbox mode of invisible projectile limits. I hooked up 4 chain guns with 4 rapid blasters and with 3 multi-shot legendary caps so that those 8 guns were firing 32 projectiles very quickly, but the bullets would just disappear mid-air at quite close range. But the sandbox gun building room is too small to judge a player's range in this way, so I had to start the run to find out. I think I'd prefer the game to have incorporated a projectile limit warning or counter or something like that. It's a tiny niggle. Best way around it is to simply select slower firing but more powerful weapons, of which there are plenty. Final complaint. Aside from luck-derived mystery rooms, every combat room kind of plays the same way. Enemies pop into spawn points at a pretty regular rate until they stop. There's not much variation except that which spawns from the way you decide to build your weapon. I think some rooms could concentrate their enemies into a smaller area of spawning, but there might be more of them to balance it out. Enemy base stats could vary room to room, so that in some rooms enemies might be faster but weaker, or tougher but slower, or all shielded or not, or all regenerating or something. Enemies do get a bit tougher throughout play and projectiles get faster, but those are gradual increases rather than something that distinguishes each room. Wishlist for this? More variety to room combat, maybe different zone bosses, so it's not the same one each run. Make purple stuff do something tangible once all the weapons and items have been unlocked. And I'd like a constant fire laser, please. I really like this game. It's moreish in the tradition of the best roguelikes that I've always kind of enjoyed. If you like Hades, Risk of Rain, Dead Cells, Binding of Isaac, Vampire Survivors, Neurovoider, that's an underrated one, and you like the idea of first-person VR stationary bullet hell shooting, then you owe it to yourself. You deserve this. This can be £15 you spend on yourself. I think it's about that. Thank you for watching/listening. Please do the subscribe stuff. Click the buttons to make me happy. Click the stuff that makes my brain go nice. Click on my brain. Click the buttons. Click the buttons that make me happy. Click my happy. Click my happy.